Have you ever helped someone, thinking it was just a small act of kindness, a broken bar, only to discover that moment would change your entire life? That's exactly what happened to Arjun, an ordinary young man whose single coin of kindness turned into the beginning of the most unexpected love story of his life. Stay till the end, because you'll never forget the twist this story holds. Arjun was a simple man, hardworking, honest, and quietly carrying the weight of 100 dreams that always seemed just out of reach. He worked at a small automobile workshop in the city, fixing engines and scraping his hands with grease for a living. Every morning, he took the crowded city bus, wearing the same faded shirt and carrying a steel lunchbox packed by his younger sister. He didn't have much, but he had a kind heart, one that always noticed people others ignored. That evening, it was raining heavily. The bus station was crowded, and people were rushing to get under shelter. That's when Arjun saw her, a young woman, drenched in the rain, standing quietly near the bench. Her clothes were simple yet elegant, and her shoes were muddy from the rain. She looked lost, searching her small purse with trembling fingers. When the bus driver shouted the last call, she looked panicked. Arjun noticed her expression, that mixture of embarrassment and helplessness, and before she could even say a word, he stepped forward. "Miss, are you okay?" he asked softly. "Yeah, broken bar, I forgot my wallet," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I don't have enough for the bus." Without hesitation, Arjun reached into his pocket, pulled out the few coins he had left, and pressed them into her hand. "It's okay," he smiled. "You can pay me back when we meet again, or not at all. Just get home safely." She looked at him, surprised. No one had spoken to her with such warmth in a long time. "Thank you," she said, her voice breaking slightly. "I'll never forget this." He didn't know it then, but that drenched, desperate woman was Aisha Verma, the CEO of Avenue Enterprises, one of the city's biggest firms. She had been traveling incognito that day, without her car, her assistants, or her guards, trying to understand how ordinary people lived and felt. Her wallet had fallen somewhere along the way, but that wasn't what truly shook her. It was him. A week later, Arjun was at the workshop, tightening bolts on a car when a black Mercedes stopped outside. Everyone turned to look. The driver stepped out, followed by a woman in a crisp white shirt and black trousers. Arjun froze when he saw her. It was the same woman from the bus station. "You!" he exclaimed, wiping his hands on a cloth. "You found your wallet, right?" She smiled gently. "Yes, but I came to return something more important than money." Everyone stared as she walked toward him and extended an envelope. Inside was a check, for a superscript 1 to lock. Arjun stepped back, shaking his head. "Ma'am, I can't take this. I didn't help you for money." "I know," Aisha said softly, "and that's exactly why you deserve it." He refused again, and she couldn't help but admire his humility. Before leaving, she asked, "Would you at least have coffee with me, as a thank you?" That was the beginning of something beautiful. Their friendship grew naturally. Over coffee meetings and casual chats, Aisha found herself drawn to his simplicity, the way he smiled even after long hours of work, his love for his family, his respect for people no matter their status. He never bragged, never complained. Arjun, on the other hand, had no idea who she truly was. He only knew she worked in some company, as she vaguely put it. He liked her laughter, her curious questions about everyday life, and how she listened to him like his words actually mattered. Weeks turned into months. One evening, they sat at the edge of a quiet lake. The sunset painted the sky gold. Aisha turned to him and said, "Arjun, a broken bar, can I tell you something?" He smiled. "Of course. I'm not who you think I am. My name is Aisha Verma. I'm the CEO of Avenue Enterprises." Arjun blinked, speechless. For a moment, the world stood still. "You're broken bar, what?" "Yes," she said, "and I didn't mean to hide it. I just wanted you to see me as a person, not as my title." He laughed softly, though his heart was racing. "You could have told me about a broken bar, I understand. I liked you for who you are, not what you have." Tears welled in her eyes. "That's why I fell for you, Arjun. You treated me like a human, not a headline." but their worlds were miles apart. Aisha's board of directors disapproved of her spending time with the mechanic. Her family threatened to disown her if she continued, and Arjun he felt small, unworthy. He began to pull away, believing she deserved someone better. Days passed without calls. Nights felt longer than ever. Then, one morning, Aisha appeared again at the workshop wearing a simple dress, no makeup, no bodyguards. "I've made my choice," she said firmly. He stared at her, confused. "What do you mean?" "I resigned. I realized I don't want a life full of meetings and loneliness. I want a life full of meaning with you." Tears filled his eyes. "You gave up everything?" She smiled. "Not everything. I kept what really matters." They started small. Opened a car repair and customization shop together, combining Arjun's skill with Aisha's business sense. Soon, their workshop turned into one of the city's most trusted centers. She didn't need her wealth to feel rich anymore. Years later, at a business award ceremony, Aisha was invited as a guest of honor. Standing beside her was Arjun, now her husband. When she was asked to share the secret of her success, she smiled at the audience and said, "Once, a man gave me money for a bus. He didn't know he was giving me a reason to believe in love again." Sometimes, the smallest kindness can lead you to your biggest destiny.